I get that a lot. I have a lot of students, former students, they found me on Facebook. I'm not too good with Twitter. I don't know how to follow, tweet, and all that. They're trying to help me get there. But a lot of them, re- they didn't listen then, but they'll come back to me now and say, thanks for staying on me because like I said firm. I'm very firm. I have a reputation as well. Miss Sermons don't play. That's what they say. And I don't because I know that if you can make sure the students are under control as far as management, then you have a great step because now you can teach. So that's what I do for the first. I do it every day. Mondays are my days. We have to remind them, you're not at home. Where are you at? Okay, what are we doing here? And then they get back on track. So it's like a constant reminder. Like I said, I have middle school. It's a whole different audience. I have to know what they're talking about. You have to be personal. You have to develop relationships. And I have a student, I was just talking to him yesterday. We made a deal because he was the kid that nobody wanted in their class. He would get sent to my room for timeout because he couldn't handle himself. He was angry, but a lot of stuff came from not school but home things. So I became his safe place. And he would share to me, what was going on at home. I said, well, we can't control that here. I can't tell your mother how to run her house. I can't tell your mother what she can do with you or what she can't. Here's what you can do. Who's the only person who can control you? He said, me. I said, that's right. So if you control you, then nobody has to tell you, don't do this, don't do that. You know the rules, just do it. So we set up a tracking sheet. He goes to every class, he gets his sign, and he comes to me every day. And when he has a good day, he gets a little reward. His big reward is having lunch with Miss Sermons. Who would have thought? Who wants to eat lunch with their teacher? But it was exciting for him. And so we've been having a lunch date every Friday because he's been doing well. I see him in the hall. I say, Mark, I say, how you doing? He gives me a high five. Keep up the good work. And I talk to the teachers about him. And that might not mean a lot to everybody else, but I know it means something to him. And that's why I became a teacher, because I had great teachers who worked with me, like Dr. Holly. I know she left. I was at Carmel when she was a teacher there. And even though she wasn't my teacher, she connected with me. So that's why I became a teacher, to make sure that I connect with children who might not have that person at home or at school who they can go to. So that's just my story.
We're running short of time, okay? So what I'd like to do is ask one final question. This will be a real challenge for this group. And one of the things we recognize that parents and caregivers are such an important part of how well students do in school. So one of the questions I want to ask, and I'm going to try to hold them to it, I want to ask each person up here, in 5 words or less, say what they would like to say to parents, and maybe they have said. 5 words or less. Hard, isn't it? Okay. Who wants to start? Hannah? 5 words or less.
You're saying the 5 words to me, right? Because I talk too much. But
No, I'm just saying 5 words is hard for any.
yeah, and I have said it, and it's one of. Is it on? It's the one thing I do say. I say, how can we work together? Because I couldn't do my job without the parents for their support.
Relationship. Just build a relationship with the parents.
I started counting what I had here, and I'm at like 8. So I'm just going to use the first word, and it's really about, it's communication.
As a reading teacher, I always say this to my parents. The 5 words that I would use: get reading material at home, have things for them to read. Sorry, I went over.
Thank you for loving your children.
And I think we're wrapping up the panel. Is that correct? And thank you. I just want to add one thing. And some of you have heard me say this if you've been in sessions where I've worked. But the reason we really care about what teachers do and what parents do and what the community does is because, and this is not my original quote, but I love it, children are the living messages we send to a time we will never see. So I want you to think about that. Children are the living messages we send to a time we will never see. Let's send good messages.
Hi everyone, I'm Amy Scott, data analyst for A+ Schools, and I think I can speak for many of us in this room when I say that we are so appreciative for the opportunity to hear how you all are working with your students every day and holding them to high, high standards as you watch them grow. So we have some thank you gifts for you. They're big boxes here, donated by the Education Partnership, who provide school supplies and classroom supplies for schools across the region. So we'll get those for you. You don't have to bring them when you go down the stairs because they're pretty heavy. But let's give our teacher panelists and moderator Judy Johnston another round of applause. Thank you so much. And I will now welcome you off the stage.